Welcome to Morocco-tastic Podcast. Join us as we explore the beauty and culture of Morocco. Let's dive in.
All right. Buckle up, listeners, because this deep dive is taking us straight to Ouarzazate, Morocco. Think sweeping desert vistas, ancient cities, and more than a few familiar scenes from some of your favorite movies.
You're right on the money. Ouarzazate's definitely earned its place in cinematic history.
Lawrence of Arabia, Gladiator, even Game of Thrones couldn't resist those epic backdrops.
Exactly. And those iconic landscapes tell only part of the story. We're going beyond the Hollywood lens today to uncover what makes Ouarzazate such a captivating place.
Love that. So before we dive into the magic of movie sets, let's set the stage. Where exactly are we in the world?
Picture this: Morocco, where the rugged Atlas Mountains meet the legendary Sahara Desert. Right at that crossroads, you'll find Ouarzazate. It's a bustling city perched right on the edge of this vast expanse.
Wow. Okay, I can already see why it's been such a strategic location throughout history.
Precisely. That gateway between mountain and desert has shaped its destiny for centuries. It's been a strategic stronghold, a vital trading post, and now it's like a launch pad for modern-day explorers.
A gateway to the Sahara Desert. I have to admit, that phrase alone evokes some serious wanderlust. Endless dunes, the silence of the desert, a sky bursting with stars. It's definitely a side of Ouarzazate I'm itching to explore.
And you wouldn't be disappointed. We're talking camel treks through those dunes under that scorching desert sun.
Oh, I can imagine.
You can hop in a 4x4 and go deep into the heart of the Sahara. Or, and this is for the truly adventurous,
Okay, I'm listening.
imagine spending the night under that expansive sky in a traditional Berber tent, with nothing but the stories of the desert stars as your entertainment.
Wow. Okay, that's something else. The thought of experiencing that kind of raw beauty, that serenity, it's incredibly appealing. Did our sources mention any specific traditions or beliefs tied to those desert excursions? Something that speaks to the Berber people's relationship with the Sahara?
Oh, absolutely. The Berber people believe that spending a night under the desert sky is a deeply spiritual experience, a chance to connect with their ancestors and the powerful forces of nature.
I can see that.
They've woven incredible tales and traditions into the very fabric of the desert. It's more than just a landscape to them. It's a living, breathing entity.
That's beautiful.
But we'll actually delve deeper into the Berber people and their connection to this land a bit later on.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready when you are. For now, though, can we talk about those iconic sand dunes? I can't forget those. I'm picturing those classic postcard images. Towering dunes sculpted by the wind, stretching as far as the eye can see. Our sources mention Erg Chebi and Erg Shigaga. What makes those dunes so special?
Those are some of the most impressive dunes in the entire Sahara Desert, and their sheer scale. Breathtaking. What's really fascinating is how close they are to Ouarzazate.
So is that what makes Ouarzazate a good home base?
Yes, it's like the perfect base camp. You get the city comforts, and then you can launch into a world of dunes and desert adventures right from there.
Love it. Okay, so from the vastness of the Sahara, we can hop, skip, and maybe take a camel ride over to this place called Aït Benhaddou. This is what I imagine when I hear the phrase frozen in time. Am I close?
You are so right. Aït Benhaddou. Time really does seem to stand still there. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site for good reason. The architecture is incredible. Just picture this.
Okay.
Traditional earth and clay buildings called kasbahs rising out of the landscape. Their ochre walls almost seem to mirror the surrounding desert.
It must be amazing to see in person. Knowing the Glaoui family once ruled this region, I'm kind of eager to step into Kasbah Taourirt and just, feel the weight of their legacy. What's it like inside these grand structures?
You're really going to be transported back in time. Think intricate corridors leading to all these hidden rooms. You've got stunning tile work and carvings adorning the walls.
Oh, wow.
It's like a maze of history. You can practically feel the weight of the past as you're wandering through those halls. Kasbah Taourirt especially gives you a glimpse into the architectural heritage of Morocco. You can picture the lives of those who ruled that land.
It's amazing how these structures have stood the test of time. Talk about ingenuity. Speaking of ingenuity, we can't forget about Ouarzazate's unexpected connection to something very modern: clean energy.
Right. You don't always picture solar power when you think of ancient cities and desert landscapes.
Exactly. It's this amazing juxtaposition. So just outside of Ouarzazate, you've got the Noor Ouarzazate Solar Power Station. It's a project that's really turning heads on a global scale.
Oh, absolutely.
Solar panels amidst ancient kasbahs and desert landscapes. That's quite the image. What makes this Noor project so special?
It's massive. When it's fully operational, it's going to be one of the largest concentrated solar power plants in the world. And it's not just about size. They're using this fascinating technology called concentrated solar power, or CSP.
Okay, CSP. That's different from the solar panels you typically see, right? Break it down for us.
So instead of just relying on photovoltaic panels, this plant uses thousands of mirrors. Picture these massive reflective surfaces, almost like giant satellite dishes.
Wow, okay, I can visualize that.
They're strategically positioned to focus sunlight onto a central tower. All that concentrated heat then generates steam, which drives a turbine to produce electricity.
So it's like a symphony of engineering and sunlight.
Exactly.
Incredible. Why go to such lengths, though? What's the driving force behind Morocco's push for this kind of technology, especially in a region so steeped in tradition?
Well, Morocco actually has limited fossil fuel reserves,
Oh, I see.
which means they have to rely on imports. So this project is a huge step towards energy independence for them. And it's a key part of their goal to transition to, get this, 52% renewable energy by 2030.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is. It's a powerful example of how a nation can embrace its heritage and its future.
Ouarzazate, where ancient traditions meet cutting-edge technology. What an inspiring example. Speaking of ancient traditions, this whole time I've been thinking about the people who've called this region home for centuries. The Berber people. Their connection to this land runs deep.
Deep doesn't even begin to cover it. Long before those kasbahs, long before the caravans, the Berber people were here, thriving in this challenging environment. They've adapted and evolved over millennia.
That's incredible. It really shows you how resilient they are. Do our sources mention any specific adaptations they've made to not just survive, but actually thrive in such a harsh environment?
Their way of life is a testament to their deep understanding of the land. They've mastered traditional water management techniques, honed their skills in nomadic herding, and they have this ingrained respect for the natural resources around them.
It makes you realize that history isn't just about dates and events. It's about people's stories, their struggles, their triumphs. What really stands out to me is their tradition of oral storytelling. It's like their own version of Hollywood, but with campfires and the vast desert as their backdrop. What can you tell us about that?
Oral storytelling is everything to Berber culture. It's how they pass down their history, their myths, their legends. Imagine sitting around a crackling fire under the desert sky as a seasoned storyteller spins these tales. Tales of ancient heroes, mythical creatures, spirits that roam the desert.
It sounds magical. We've talked a lot about Ouarzazate's past, but what about its future?
It's a question on a lot of people's minds.
Tourism is booming there. The film industry is thriving. It seems like Ouarzazate is at a crossroads.
It is. And with all that popularity, a crucial question emerges. How does a place like Ouarzazate balance its booming tourism industry with preserving the very heritage that makes it so special?
That's the question, isn't it? It's a challenge a lot of places are facing these days. How do you hold on to what makes a place unique when it's becoming so popular? What are some of the unique pressures Ouarzazate is up against?
Well, Ouarzazate's interesting because it's not just dealing with one kind of popularity. You've got those historical sites like Aït Benhaddou. Then there's the allure of the Sahara, the connection to the Berber people. And on top of that, you've got the whole Hollywood connection. Each one brings its own set of opportunities and challenges.
It's like juggling 3 different tourism balls at once. Are there any challenges that really stand out?
I think one of the big ones is making sure that the economic benefits of tourism actually reach the local communities, especially the Berber people who've called this land home for centuries.
It's about making sure the money goes to the people, right? Not just big corporations.
Exactly. It's about avoiding that thing called economic leakage, where the profits from tourism just flow right out of the region instead of empowering the people who live there.
So how do you strike that balance? Our source mentioned community-based tourism. What does that look like in action?
So instead of those big international hotel chains, imagine charming, locally owned guest houses dotting the landscape.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Visitors get that authentic experience. They're having meals prepared with local ingredients. They're interacting directly with locals, learning about the culture firsthand. It's a way to create a system where everybody benefits.
It's about making tourism a part of the fabric of the community, not something that overshadows it. What about the film industry's role in all of this? We've talked about the money it brings in, but is there a concern that it could change Ouarzazate's cultural landscape?
It's definitely something to think about. On one hand, you've got the revenue, the global exposure. On the other, there's that potential to create a disconnect between the Hollywood version of Ouarzazate and the reality of everyday life.
So how do you keep Ouarzazate from becoming just another movie set, a place that feels detached from its own story?
I think it takes a conscious effort from everyone involved. One approach is encouraging filmmakers to really engage with the community.
In what way?
Hiring local crews, sourcing materials locally, even just incorporating the region's culture and history into their stories authentically. It's about respect.
Collaboration and mutual respect. That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like Ouarzazate is taking steps in the right direction. But this is an ongoing process, right?
It is. It's a balancing act, finding ways to embrace the opportunities without compromising their heritage. And it's not just on the government or tourism boards either. Travelers have a role to play too.
Okay, so for those of us who are itching to book a trip to Morocco, what can we do? As travelers, how can we make sure our visit is a positive one?
Be a mindful traveler. Do your research, for one. Look for accommodations and tour operators that are committed to sustainable practices, community engagement. And go beyond the guidebooks.
Talk to the locals.
Yes, listen to their stories, learn about their traditions. It's about approaching travel with a sense of curiosity and respect. We're not just observers, we're guests.
Beautifully said. This deep dive into Ouarzazate has been incredible. We've covered everything from ancient architecture to renewable energy, fascinating legends, and that crucial balance between progress and preservation.
I hope it's inspired some of our listeners to add Ouarzazate to their travel bucket lists.
If you're looking for an adventure that combines history, culture, and stunning natural beauty, this is it. Just remember, pack your curiosity, your respect, and your sense of adventure. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.